I sure do love watching my favorite self-contained animation series.
Oh my god, is that Peppino Spaghetti?
Seeing your favorite fictional characters interact is a dream come true for most people, and nothing encapsulates this fact quite like the crossover. In any form of media, a crossover usually signifies when characters from completely separate universes come together under a shared context or scenario, and it can be really cool seeing how characters from extremely different backgrounds and personalities would act when forced into the same world. Pizza Tower is one of the biggest indie hits in recent memory, and unsurprisingly, it's already had crossovers with multiple other franchises and games. However, something unique about Pizza Tower is that on top of these official crossovers, there have also been several unofficial crossovers in the form of mods made by Pizza Tower's lead developer, McPig. Over the course of Pizza Tower's development, McPig has created multiple mods that add Pizza Tower characters to other games, and a lot of them feature completely new art and even entirely original characters. In this video, I'll be doing a deep dive into these official and unofficial crossovers while discovering the unique contents of each one. Remember to subscribe if you enjoy the video, and without further ado, let's begin. To start out, I'll be talking about the 3 mods McPig made that add Pizza Tower characters to other games, and the first of these mods is for a Smash Brothers styled fighting game called Rivals of Aether. This game is pretty fun in its own right, but mainly became popular thanks to one key component, the workshop. The developers of this game had the genius idea to make custom stages and characters extremely easy to make, even providing their own samples to get people started, and this ease of access caused a massive modding community to form early on. Pretty much any character under the sun has had a Rivals of Aether mod made for them at this point, so naturally Pizza Tower was bound to get the same treatment. What was unexpected, however, was that McPig himself would be the one to do it. In late 2022, around a month before Pizza Tower would release, a mod would be uploaded to the workshop that had Peppino Spaghetti as a playable fighter, with all of the art being done by McPig, sound and music being done by Mr. Sauceman, and help with programming provided by another mod creator named Mr. Nart. This fighter obviously has a ton of love poured into it and is absolutely chock full of references to Peppino's abilities and Pizza Tower as a whole. To start, let's just take a second to admire the beautiful animation on display here. McPig did a great job at replicating the Rivals art style while still retaining the goofy cartoonish movement of his own style. Each animation keeps the manic energy of Pizza Tower while at the same time being a lot more coherent and readable, two very important aspects for a fighting game. Peppino has a multitude of selectable color palettes, with some being more general references and others being specific characters or games, including the Grinch demo. All of his generic moves like walking, running, jumping, blocking, and parrying are all animated with a surprising amount of charm considering the low resolution sprites. His taunt is him doing a double thumbs up that kinda looks like the animation when you get a key in the final game, but I'm pretty sure isn't actually a reference to anything. Starting with his standard attacks, Peppino's tilts, aerials, and smash attacks include a variety of punches, kicks, and other slapstick moves that references different abilities in Pizza Tower. Jab attack is 2 quick slaps resembling the old slap attack in earlier demos that was eventually replaced by the grab dash. Dash attack may be a reference to the old animation that used to play when you ran through blocks at Mach 2. Down tilt is a multi-hit where he rolls forward with the sprite briefly changing into the ball transformation. Up tilt, side tilt, up air, up smash, and forward smash are all references to different animations that can play when throwing an enemy. Down smash is also throw related, although this one specifically is the big swing that you can perform when grabbing an enemy while mock running. Neutral air is most likely a reference to the flop jump move or just that specific animation. Down air is a powerful spike that resembles the stomp attack after you shoot down with the shotgun. Back air references the shoulder bash when cancelling out of a super jump. And finally, I'm not actually sure if forward air references anything, it kinda just looks like a generic looking spike. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Moving on from normal attacks, Peppino's specials are all much more versatile and reference some integral parts of his moveset. To start, neutral special is Peppino's iconic Mach Run. Pressing the button once causes him to start running forward, and pressing it again will give him a short burst of speed that can damage enemies. While in Mach mode, all of Peppino's moves do more damage and come out quicker, and it also has the added benefit of allowing you to perform moves like tilts and smash attacks while moving or in the air. I really suck at using this move, but I'd imagine that it would allow for some crazy combos if you master it. Next up, side special is the grab dash. This doubles as both a command grab and a recovery tool, giving you a burst of horizontal speed as you dash forward. If you manage to grab an enemy, you will automatically perform a pile driver that does a decent amount of damage and knockback when you hit the ground. Sadly, you can't use this move to be toxic, as if you decide to pile drive your opponent off stage, you die first and they can easily recover. Down special is the body slam, sending you straight down in the air and causing you to bounce up when using it on the ground. If you body slam from high enough, these cheese blocks will shoot out from both directions, giving the move some extra damage and range. Finally, up special is the iconic super jump. This attack shoots you straight up into the air, and if you hold down the attack button, you can charge it while adjusting side to side just like in Pizza Tower. The longer you hold the attack button, the higher it'll launch Peppino, but it's important to keep in mind that you get absolutely no horizontal momentum from this. When recovering from off stage, I'd highly recommend using either Mach Run or Grab Dash first to cover any horizontal distance, after which you can use a super jump to make it back on stage. I honestly love how many of Peppino's moves are focused on momentum and speed, similar to his main game. He feels very fast and powerful, but also not absolutely broken like a lot of custom characters on the workshop. Overall, McPig and his team did a great job on this, and I think it's honestly one of the most well-made custom fighters out there. While we're still on this game, I want to mention that there's also several really impressive unofficial mods that add more Pizza Tower characters and even stages. At this point, there's a character mod for each of the bosses, and they do a pretty good job of fitting in with the official Peppino. Additionally, there are many fan-made stages based on different Pizza Tower levels and boss arenas. I'm not gonna go too deep into these for the sake of time, but I highly recommend checking out these mods alongside the official one. The second mod I'll be covering is a bit smaller in scope and is for a game called Dr. Robotnik's Ring Racers. This is a kart racing game built off of the original Doom engine, and it's genuinely one of the most fun kart racers I've ever played. It seems like McPig agrees with this fact, as he not only endorsed the game on Twitter but also streamed it on Twitch multiple times. In these streams, he can be seen using custom racers that resemble both Pizza Tower and original characters, and upon further research we can find that the mod he was using for this was actually released to the public. Also, before we start, I want to say that I've played this game for like an hour total, so I apologize if my gameplay sucks. This mod includes 6 racers, each of which have different weight classes and speeds. The first 3, Pizza Head, Pizza Tower Guy Mark II, and Gnome Trio all originate from Pizza Tower, with Gnome Trio specifically being a reference to Woon is from Torta Pizza's upcoming game of the same name, and the last 2 characters, Meltyman and Dr. Robot Egg, are 2 of McPig's own creations. Meltyman actually originates from another mod that we'll be talking about in this video, but as far as I can tell, Dr. Robot Egg is an original character exclusive to this game, likely being a parody of the Dr. Robotnik design from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Each of these characters also comes with their own unique voice lines, with Pizza Head and Gnome Trio using Pizza Tower sound effects, Woon using a bunch of stock cartoon laughs and screams, Meltyman using some absolutely demented sounding audio clips, and Dr. Robot Egg using snippets from the aforementioned Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Pizza Tower Guy also has his own sound effects, but let's just say they're a bit interesting. Get the fuck down! Overall, this is a very odd but fun set of characters, and I enjoyed listening to all of their insane sound effects while I raced. The final mod I'll be covering is the most ambitious by far and goes by the name of Bring Your Own Class. Bring Your Own Class is a mod for Doom 2 that combines characters from multiple different creators and games and adds them into Doom as playable classes. These characters range from Homer Simpson to the Heavy from Team Fortress 2 and includes both pre-existing properties and original creations. McPig himself was actually a part of this project and ended up contributing a total of 7 of his own characters to the mod. Each of these characters come with their own stats, weapons, and gimmicks that make them unique, and all of them are chock full of references and visual gags. The first character we'll be talking about here is the pizza man himself, Peppino Spaghetti. He functions as your basic starter character with a good variety of weapons and moves. For his melee weapon, he uses a multitude multitude of things to beat up enemies, including his fists, his butt, and even the noise. While you have this weapon equipped, you can also hold right click in order to start a mock run. The mock run basically works just like it does in Pizza Tower, with the player having to build speed in order to mow down enemies, and works great as both an attack and movement option. His other weapons are pretty standard, including throwable pizzas, a variety of guns, and even a couple of references to other characters in the form of Vigilante's Dynamite and the Pizza Wizard spell. His final two weapons are probably my favorites, with the first being this pizza scooter that basically functions as a more powerful mock run with limited fuel, and the second being a portable pizza face which bounces off of walls and completely decimates any enemy it comes into contact with. Overall, this is the character that you'll want to pick if you want someone who's well-rounded and versatile but still very fun to use. The next character on the roster is none other than the Doise. This character is very similar to Peppino, with many of his weapons being slightly altered versions of those in his arsenal. The main joke here, however, is that the Doise looked at all of Peppino's weapons and just said, "I'm gonna do that, but better." Obviously, this is the Doise's definition of better, so what this really means is that all of his weapons are far more focused on style and utter chaos. A good example of this is his melee, with the main attack having him bashing enemies with even wackier objects than Peppino, and his mock run being replaced with a much bouncier and harder to control pogo stick. The rest of his weapons are all clearly an attempt to one-up Peppino in terms of spectacle. Instead of pizzas, he has a slingshot. Instead of a shotgun, he has a machine gun. Instead of dynamite, he has bombs. And instead of a screen-clearing pizza face, he has a screen-clearing fake Peppino. I mean, one of his only original attacks is literally just him taunting, which is both perfectly in character as well as hilarious. Honestly, I'd say Peppino and the Doise are about the same in terms of their overall stats and performance, but I find myself preferring the Doise due to the sheer absurdity of his attacks. It's around this point in the mod where the characters start to get a little weird, starting with the stupid rat. This character's main gimmicks revolve around taking damage, with you getting a straight up 50% damage reduction for all enemy attacks and enemy damage causing you to gain fuel for certain weapons. Your primary weapon, the burp, allows you to release extremely powerful concentrated attacks at the cost of quickly draining ammo. These burps basically just shoot out a shit ton of whatever ammo type you have selected, which is great for tougher enemies but not the best for when you just want to kill one guy and end up emptying your entire reserves. The next weapon, the donut, acts as a burst movement option, functioning similarly to a spin dash and flinging you forward as a ball that can damage enemies. There's also the cheese, which lets you do a powerful slam into the ground that damages all nearby enemies, and the jelly, which lets you do constant weaker slams that shoot out projectiles in all directions. The rat balloon and the airplane both act as ranged attacks, with the rat balloon being a powerful explosive and the airplane summoning smaller rat planes that target enemies and shoot at them. In terms of support items, the pizza allows you to eat it and regain a bit of health, and the telephone allows you to call for an even bigger pizza that you can share with your teammates. Last but not least, you have the nuke, which is pretty self-explanatory. The abundance of support tools and weapons that can clear out crowds make this character pretty great for multiplayer, but using it in single player can still be a blast. For our next character, we have a very surprising choice in the form of the Doise. This was actually the first time the Doise was officially acknowledged by McPig, and it's also the introduction of his main character trait, being literal garbage. The main gimmick with the Doise's weapons is that they're all extremely powerful, but each come with a different terrible drawback. For instance, the Doise's melee attack is a very powerful kick, but if you miss you have to sit through this long get up animation, which is pretty funny until a horde of demons eats you alive while you're standing still. His other weapons include two powerful guns that have a lot of recoil and cover most of the screen when shot, an attack where you charge at enemies while holding two bombs with the ensuing explosion also dealing damage to you, a throwable exploding rock that will boomerang back straight into your face if you miss your target, an inaccurate chain gun with a ridiculous amount of recoil and pellets that also damage you, a sniper rifle that's so powerful it literally knocks you flat on your back if you shoot it, a chainsaw that can absolutely shred enemies but requires you to stand still to use it, and last but not least, a picture of Pedito and the Doise. I wonder what happens when I use this weapon. Oh! Run away!
Oh shit.
Okay, well, I guess this thing's just chasing me from now on. Yo, get out of my way!
He's a spooky boy.
I think it kills everything in his path also.
Oh.
Yo,
Yeah.
break his ankles. Press the button! Ah! I'm dead.
Yeah. This is the original lap 3.
Oh no. No, not the Phasmophobia, no. Anything but this. Uh-oh. Oh. There's for my neck snap. Yeah, so if you couldn't tell, the Doise's final weapon summons the ghost of Pedito, who will try his best to kill you while coincidentally killing any other enemies he comes into contact with. Oh yeah, also if you right click with any of these weapons, Doise will spray paint this neat little graphic on the wall. This character is like a coughing baby and hydrogen bomb combined. 1 second you'll be mowing down the entire map, and the next second you'll quite literally fall on your ass trying to hit a single enemy. Despite his interesting mechanics, I honestly probably had the most fun playing as this guy, and definitely recommend you try him at least once. The 5th character on the list is Pizza Tower Guy, and this one's pretty wacky. This character is a crippling alcoholic, and as such you gain more power the more he drinks. When you first spawn in, your one and only weapon, this beer bottle, is very weak, with left click making you slowly throw bottles and right click causing you to pass out for a few seconds, recovering some health in the process. However, if you go some time without using your weapon, you may notice this bottle on your HUD filling up. This bottle represents your current power level, and every time it fills up you'll gain a new set of abilities. However, using most of these abilities will cause the bottle to deplete one or more levels, so you'll need to be careful when deciding whether to charge or release your attacks. At level 2, left clicking lets you throw out 3 bottles at once, and right clicking lets you throw up a multitude of items for you and your teammates to collect. At level 3, left clicking causes you to become enraged and begin charging forward while punching rapidly, completely destroying any enemies in your path. Right clicking, on the other hand, will cause you to teleport back to the map's spawn point, which can be useful for escaping tricky situations. At level 4, left clicking causes you to shoot out a powerful energy beam that absolutely demolishes most enemies, while right clicking is just the item vomit ability again, but this time providing even more items. At the 5th and final level, left clicking will make you grow giant, allowing you to go on a rampage and kill enemies just by stomping on them, while right clicking will instantly heal you and your teammates for 200 health. You can also press your reload button at any time in order to release a fart that propels you forward and makes you walk faster for a short time, as well as spawning a small cloud that can damage enemies. To sum up this entire character, you basically just sit around until your bottle charges, wreak havoc for a few seconds, and then go back to drinking. It can be pretty fun in multiplayer when you have other people to defend you, but if you're playing single player, I'd recommend just picking someone else. These last 2 characters aren't from Pizza Tower, but are instead 2 of McPig's original characters. The first of these characters is Bob and Bob. These guys are a set of cowboys that function as one character. To reduce confusion, I'm gonna refer to this Bob as Red Bob and this Bob as Blue Bob. Scrolling through your weapons, you'll see a variety of attacks that are performed by either one or both of the cowboys. To start, pressing right click with any weapon will activate the current cowboy's melee attack, with Red Bob doing a strong kick and Blue Bob doing a flurry of 3 small kicks. The regular attacks vary wildly from guns to bigger guns to tanks, cigar smoke, a TV remote, and even a large sandwich. I think my favorite of these attacks is this comically large punch belonging to Red Bob. This thing will literally one-shot any enemy, and it feels amazing to let rip. These guys also have a unique dodge feature, which can be activated by pressing the zoom button. Dodging gives you some invincibility frames as well as a small speed boost, and this can be very useful when it comes to getting around or evading enemy attacks. However, probably the coolest feature belonging to these guys is their special super abilities. Each Bob has a unique super attack that can be triggered by pressing the reload button after filling this meter. Red Bob will pull out 2 guns and shoot them simultaneously, while Blue Bob will team up with Red Bob in order to unleash a burst of explosive shots. Both of these abilities are extremely powerful, so you'll have to make sure that you're using them at the right time. This character's playstyle really reminds me of a roguelike thanks to all the dodging you'll be doing, as well as their very limited ammo reserve, so if that interests you, I definitely recommend trying them out. The final one of McPig's characters to be added to this mod is the iconic Meltyman. This guy actually originated from this mod and has only appeared one more time officially in the form of the Ring Racers mod. He acts as a tank character with a focus on his main melee attack. This attack has him using his fists to punch punch enemies with similar speed and damage to a lot of the other characters. However, if you land consecutive punches on an enemy, your attack speed will increase, with the max speed being able to shred through hordes of enemies like they're nothing. Additionally, hitting enemies will cause this rage meter to fill up, and once it's half full, you can press R to go into rage mode. This mode instantly increases the speed of your punches as well as decreases the damage you take from enemies for a short time, basically turning you into an unstoppable killing machine. Meltyman's other weapons include a throwable wrench, a trash can, an exploding teddy bear, a flamethrower, and a makeshift shotgun, but these are all very limited in ammo in order to encourage you to use your melee attack. He also has a few support items, including a sandwich that you can eat for help and a cup of ramen noodles that temporarily makes your punches much faster but also slightly weaker. This guy can start out pretty weak, but by stacking enemy kills in rage mode, you can easily take out entire stages just by holding down the punch button. I could honestly talk about this mod all day. The sprite work is amazing, each class offers a completely unique experience, and most importantly, they're all extremely fun to play. If none of that convinced you to try this mod, just consider the fact that this is probably the closest we'll ever get to an official 3D Pizza Tower game. Never mind, that actually just makes me kinda sad. Hurry up and move on before I start crying over the funny pizza game. Well, that concludes all of McPig's unofficial crossover mods, but that's not quite the end of the video. As you may remember, I mentioned at the start of the video that Pizza Tower also had a couple of official crossovers with other indie games. Most of these are pretty small in scope, so I'm gonna blast through them in one single lightning round. To start, Peppino appears as an unlockable guest character in Antonball Deluxe. If you've never played this game, it has two main modes, Antonball and Punchball. Antonball is a mixture of a platformer and the game Breakout, with you having to utilize a varied moveset in order to hit a ball into blocks on the other side of the screen. You beat each level by destroying all of the colored blocks, and each level has its own layout and hazards to avoid. Punchball, on the other hand, is basically a clone of the Mario Bros arcade game, but instead of hitting the ground under enemies to knock them over, you have to throw this ball into them. This simple change gives the game so much more depth, as you're able to attack enemies from a distance and even hit multiple in a row. Both of these modes include 5 distinct worlds with bonus stages between each level that allow you to earn continues. Usually the only way to unlock Peppino is through this lottery machine that costs 50,000 coins per spin, but I was kind of in a hurry to record all of this footage, so... Wow guys, I can't believe I got Peppino 100% legitimately. In terms of gameplay, there's no actual functional differences between each character, so you can use Peppino in either mode no problem. Many of his animations reference his Pizza Tower moveset, such as his double jump and high jump making him do a super jump, and his dash making him do the grab dash. Also, a little known fact about this game is that it had a demo made for Sage 2020, and for some reason this demo featured Snick the Porcupine, just like Pizza Tower's demo the year before. This demo even features a version of Snick's challenge, with Snick.exe being added to every level, and if you beat it, you unlock Snick himself as a playable character. I honestly have no idea why they did this, but seeing Snick outside of the Pizza Tower Sage demo is awesome, so I'm definitely not complaining. Peppino also made a playable appearance in another indie game called Alien Xenoblaster. This game is a 2D arcade style platformer reminiscent of games like Donkey Kong, and it absolutely nails the aesthetic. The main gameplay loop involves protecting a person at the top of the stage from monsters until a timer runs out, all the while collecting as many points as possible. You have limited health as well as an attack with limited ammo, with a pickup spawning occasionally that can restore your ammo if you run out. Unlocking Peppino is actually a bit of a challenge this time, as you first have to play through story mode all the way until you beat the 3rd world. After beating each world, you unlock a challenge that will award you with a new character, and the World 3 challenge called Pizza Party awards you with none other than Peppino Spaghetti. This challenge involves you killing enemies until the timer runs out, but with the added threat of each of these pipes occasionally spitting out a pizza that you have to collect or else you instantly lose. This can be pretty tough, but as long as you don't make too many mistakes, you should be able to beat it pretty quickly and unlock our beloved Pizza Man. Like Antonball, Peppino's simply a reskin here, with him being able to run, jump, climb, and shoot just like every other character. One thing I do find funny though is that instead of shooting a laser beam like every other character, Peppino just straight up punches the enemies with his comedically large fist. Playing as Peppino also alters your HUD, with art of him being added to both sides of the game and your ammo being changed to blocks of cheese. One last thing I'd like to mention before I move on is that this game is ridiculously fun. Like, I only needed a couple minutes of footage for this segment, but I ended up playing for well over 2 hours. Definitely check it out if you haven't already, it's a bit of a hidden gem. The final cameo I want to talk about is Peppino's very minor appearance as an assist character in Fraymakers. I'll be honest, I've never played this game before, but as far as I can tell, Peppino's unlocked automatically and you can equip him as your assist character before starting a match. During a fight, you can use your assist character once you fully charge this meter, and most of them either do extra damage or help you in some other way. When you call upon Peppino, he will instantly charge at your opponent with his arms outstretched. If he makes contact with the opponent, he'll perform a massive uppercut, dealing damage and shooting them straight up into the air. Not much else to say here, but I do think that Peppino in this specific art style looks absolutely hilarious. And with that, I think I've thoroughly covered all of the Pizza Tower crossovers that I know of. If I'm being honest, this video is mainly just an excuse to talk about the 3 amazing mods that McPig worked on, but I figured I may as well cover some other games like Antonball and Alien Xenoblaster since a lot of people wanted me to check them out. As always, every mod and game that I talked about in this video will be linked in the description if you want to check them out. I know most of you don't like long outros, so I'll just end this video by saying sincerely thank you for watching. There's been so much support on my videos recently, and I just wanted to say that I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.